What's up, weirdos? Any of you white ones ever want to make your hair into dreadlocks and then cosplay as an indigenous shaman? Because that's what Shanin Blake does. That's what we're talking about.
I've been learning shit from the aliens, like how we're all connected to the pyramids and how we used to use them for time traveling.
Yeah, okay, so that's who she is. I know that's kind of a lot to take in with everything she's saying and who she is as a person. I think we could spend literally 30 minutes just breaking down all of the things that she's appropriating in just this one frame. She is the end game of colonial exploitation. Damn, big words coming out today. Like, we've got obviously the dreadlocks first and foremost, which don't do that if you're white. I'm sorry, don't. Even if you can gaslight yourself into thinking that it's not appropriating black culture, you don't look good. Like, this hairstyle does not look good on us whites. But also, we got the dream catcher right here, and then the lyrics themselves.
I've been learning shit from the aliens, like how we're all connected to the pyramids and how we used to use them for time traveling.
By the way, you didn't talk to aliens. You didn't talk to fourth dimensional beings that told you why the pyramids were used for time traveling. You just did a lot of drugs, and that's fine. But the reason I'm making the video today is because she'll also say things like this.
Kidney infection, I heal that too. I've been doing things your brain can't compute.
Yeah, my brain cannot compute you saying that you healed your kidney infection just with the power of thought.
Whoa.
But that's who she is. That's the surface level understanding of Shanin Blake. That's where people's knowledge mostly begins and ends. But what if I told you that it goes a lot deeper and gets a lot worse? This is just spreading, new age, spiritual BS. The power of your mind can heal your kidney disease. It's just, not different from science-denying, anti-vax BS. But because she's not wearing a pantsuit and a Make America Great Again hat, people see her vibe and go, because she's hippie, so she's lived, so she's good. And by the way, the people who think that are the dumb ones. Most people don't think that way. Because recently, this talk that she made with her song got a little bit of traction because of one thing that she said. Check this out.
From the Pleiades, Lauren is the race. I came to this earth to bring love, light, and heat.
Okay, so on surface level, that sounds like, okay, she's hippie. She's saying hippie dippy bullshit. She came to this earth to bring love, light, and healing. What was that thing you said about Pleiades? I don't know what that is. Who cares? She's just nice.
Whoa.
So yeah, she was talking about aliens, and then she's also talking about Pleiades. Check this out. In ufology, Nordic alien is the name given to alleged humanoid extraterrestrials, purported to come from the Pleiades. She said, bitch, I'm from the Pleiades. She's saying she's a Nordic alien. They resemble Nordic Scandinavians, big old tall white boys. They were described as 6 to 7 foot, tall with long blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. Scholars note that the mythology of extraterrestrial visitation from beings with features described as Aryan! That's right, Hitler's favorite types. The Aryan race! Now I know what you're saying. This hippie woman who's built her entire career off cultural appropriation can't possibly be spouting white supremacist stuff in there, can she? If you're name dropping Pleiades, you know what it is, and you're calling yourself the superior race. And that superior race does happen to be white, blonde with blue eyes. And listen, there's nothing wrong with being white, having blonde hair and blue eyes, but you cannot be a white supremacist. You can't. Also, she did say this line though.
Lauren is the race.
Lauren is the race seed. What's Lauren? Lauren's star seeds originate from the Lauren star system in the northern night sky. When the Draconians destroyed their world, they wandered the galaxy in search of hospitable worlds in which they could reincarnate. And then they say, below you will find the most telling signs that you have Lauren's soul and receive a debriefing about the Lauren star seeds mission. How are you looking at this and saying, yeah, that makes sense? Oh, Scientology? No, that's crazy. But I am a Lauren starseed and the Draconians destroyed my world and I wandered the galaxy looking to reincarnate. I am, after all, a member of the Galactic Federation of Light. I am so sorry. Listen, by the way, nothing wrong with doing shrooms. Shroom it up. Hey, weed chat. Go crazy, weed chat. Who's high watching this right now? It's fine. But there comes a point in some people's lives, clearly, where they're doing these types of drugs and their brain goes into some sort of spiritual psychosis and things like this start to make sense. Listen, I know that you saw things when you were on mushrooms. I know. You smoked some DMT with Young Gravy and you saw something. If it makes you a better person with more empathy and more of a love for the world, that is so great and I'm happy for you. If it makes you a white supremacist, I'm sorry. Get off the weed! Shanin Blake out here smoking the weed that makes you a white supremacist. That's my impression of Shanin Blake before becoming a white supremacist. That's an insane accusation to make. Listen, I don't want to go that far, especially because she did clarify. A year and a half ago, she posted this video saying that, hey guys, what I'm doing is not cultural appropriation at all. The video is her posting a black woman talking about how dreadlocks aren't appropriation when white people do it, because there's nothing that white people love more than taking a black person who agrees with them and then using them as an example of the voice of all black people. Hey, this black person said that it's okay if I'm white and I have dreadlocks like crazy. This black person said it's okay, so that means every black person's cool with it. Stay off the weed, Shanin! But look at this.
Non-black people wearing locks is not culture appropriation because every culture.
What a flashback. That audio is such a 2022 audio. But yeah, it just basically goes showing a bunch of different cultures with dreadlocks. Native American, Indian, Celtic, Polish, Tibetan monks. And then at the end, stay strong, lockheads. Hey, shut the fuck up and get this Justin Timberlake ass shower needing lockhead off my screen.
Huh?
Her description says, for the people in the back, I'm Native American and Hispanic and Irish. Kind of snuck in the Irish there. I grew up in a family that speaks fluent Spanish, visiting my relatives in Mexico often and eating homemade tacos. Then why are you also calling yourself an Aryan alien? The Aryan race! You're Native American and Hispanic. How come a year and a half later you're talking about how you're from Pleiades, Hitler's dream planet? I grew up doing plant medicine, burning sage, doing sweat lodges and teepees, and connecting with my ancestors as part of my culture. My great-great-grandfather was a famous Cherokee chief. Okay. Can I just say, if you're white, I know that you have a story about how 2 generations ago, I was Cherokee. So I'm like 1/16. I probably could have gotten a scholarship. I just didn't want to fill out the paperwork. Almost every single white person in America, especially anybody who grew up in like the Midwest, they have these stories. Actually, it's not just white people, but it's mostly white people. I thought that I was related to some Cherokee person. But there comes a point where you have to start asking questions of like, why do I look like this then? By the way, I'm not at all. There's nothing, no. Just fully made up lore from other cousins I don't understand. But she continues on and says, so please stop telling people what their race is and what they can and can't do. You're unaware this is offensive. You telling my white ass I can't do dreadlocks? That's offensive to me. If someone has light skin, it doesn't mean they are white European, but you are saying that you are a Nordic Aryan alien. So that kind of doesn't compute. This person right here says, exactly, they just look different because everyone has different texture and body to their hair. So sick of the hate on this app. Hey, you know what? The difference in the texture and body to their hair is why black people do dreadlocks and white people should not. Because when white people do it, it's like your hair is not really made for that. And culturally, it seems like you're kind of just vulturing off of black culture, you know?
My spirit guides, they help me land upon the best path. I'm learning how to navigate being an empath.
You go from talking about your spirit guides, fine. I think I've made my point clear already, but then you go to saying you're learning how to navigate being an empath? Why is everybody an empath? And also, why are the most egotistical people the ones always claiming to be the empaths? Maybe it's because they want to center themselves in somebody else's suffering. Oh, I really feel how much that hurts you. Let me become the main character of this moment where you're talking about your trauma. Because I'm an empath, let me come in and be the main character and fix it. That's what it gives a lot. It does. Having empathy is great. You should always have empathy. And by the way, let me have a little bit of empathy for her here. I'll do it later. I don't want to. Sorry, I thought about having empathy and I don't want to right now. This is the type of thing that's like, it could potentially be seen as harmless by people who are, on her side. But when we're on the outside looking in, I think it is fair to criticize what she's doing. So that's about my empathy for her right now.
I meditate for circle 999 and feel free. Ho'oponopono, please forgive cause I am sorry.
What was that right there? Ho'oponopono, please forgive me because I'm sorry. I'm gonna go look up what that is right now. Fingers crossed it's not related to indigenous culture. Ho'oponopono is a traditional Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. The Hawaiian translates into English simply as correction. Okay, so are you Hawaiian? No, so why are you saying it? Because you could just say correction or reconciliation. But you want to present yourself as a spiritual figure, which is why you were using things that are traditionally seen as spiritual and odd because they're indigenous. Hey, let me put on these dreadlocks, 38 layers of necklaces and jewelry, and then my Aryan ass is gonna talk about indigenous culture. Oh, we got some indigenous culture right there? Hey, how about I take a little bit of that, sing some songs on TikTok, and make a little bit of money off of that? I'm spreading light, I'm making people feel happy, I'm making music. How about I also use all that money I got from your indigenous culture and buy a mansion in the woods? A mansion! I'm literally just here to take your indigenous culture and get money off of it. Ho'oponopono. Shut the fuck up! Oh my god. I feel weird even saying it, and you're singing it for money. That is me getting to my real point of this whole thing, is that she is taking this indigenous culture, using it to put a mask of spirituality on herself. You can be spiritual without taking from indigenous culture. People fetishize indigenous culture. There's the whole idea of like the noble savage. This romantic idea of what indigenous people's cultures are like and how their spirituality is so real. And you can only be real if you're using theirs, so let me take it. Let me take it and make it mine. It can't be just theirs. Because I've romanticized it in my mind to the point where I think that that's the only possible truth. Because I'm fetishizing indigenous cultures. So I'm gonna take all that, put it on me, and now I have the spirituality that the indigenous people had because they're right, because they're noble. White, you can believe in the healing power of nature and have spiritual ideas relating to that without going in and vulturing off of already existing indigenous cultures. Especially when you're doing that to create a persona for yourself to then make money. Because this is where she was before. This is June 14th, 2019. You might notice that she doesn't look really the same at all. Her hair isn't even in dreadlocks, but she's sleeping on this mattress in the corner. Here's her also in 2019. See how different she looks? Her in 2018. Interesting. Oh, oh, well, here's also her in 2018. Well, I'm seeing dreads and a lot of stuff, yeah. But scroll through her TikTok right now and look at how she constantly is. She has no off switch. She is always in this. It must take her 5 hours every morning to get ready. Oh my God, look at this. Yeah, this image right here, again, is a woman who is claiming to be a Nordic alien. She's a reincarnation of a Nordic alien. A Nordic Aryan alien, yeah. Aryan race! She's got the third eye, hands up like that. Oh my God. It's like maximalist indigenous spirituality on a white woman. But no, she is Native American. Her great-great-grandfather was a very famous Cherokee chief. Don't fact check it, but he was. Also, she spoke Spanish and she had relatives in Mexico and they made homemade tacos and also Irish. But for some reason, I'm thinking that the Irish takes up the lion's share in her ancestry percentage, even though she only talked about the Native American and Mexican side. Because those could very well just be slivers, girl. And you're all this Irish? Guess what? I'm not going, well, that 3% of Native American means that everything she's doing is actually so cool. Now here's a question. Is this harming anybody? It's not harming me, but I'm white. I can't imagine what this would feel like if I was actually in the culture that she's appropriating. Like looking at this, seeing all of the money she's getting from this and being like, cool, she just kind of swept in, stole all of our indigenous culture and then is making a shitload of money off of it. Oh, that's actually so cool and I'm totally down with it, sister. I don't think that's happening. And there's another point that I really want to talk about with the whole exploitation of the indigenous culture and spirituality, but I didn't want to put it out up front because it's going to be a little bit controversial. I don't know how to preface this. I do not judge anybody for doing sex work. It is completely anybody's choice to do that. So I don't want what I'm about to say to come across as shaming sex work. I'm not. Hey, be free, do your thing. But she also does have an OF, and I don't think that anybody's really talking about this because it is an uncomfortable thing to talk about, but there is this aspect of, we've talked previously in this video about the fetishization of indigenous culture and spirituality. And to craft an entire persona that is just, I am the indigenous spirituality appropriator, and then to use that persona to make money on OF. I can't imagine that that feels cool if you are somebody whose culture she's appropriating. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the way that I feel about that. It just doesn't seem right. This whole concept of culture vulturing, it's bad enough when you're doing it to the extent that she's doing it and then, buying mansions in the woods, specifically off of money that she's getting from, appropriating. That's bad enough. But then to also be getting money from fetishizing explicitly, like to literally be doing fetishization of this spirituality from indigenous people. You're talking about ho'oponopono and then you're filming porno, it feels like there's nothing more exploitative, So again, there's nothing wrong with sex work. You do you, no judgment, nothing. It's just the specific circumstances in her case that makes it feel a little bit crazy. Also, a thing people say a lot is like, oh, she's definitely got parents that are like wildly wealthy. Because that's where hippie culture kind of comes from, is where kids are able to rebel against their parents, but are also funded by their parents. Like the whole hippie culture is basically a lot of trust fund kids just rebelling, So a lot of people are saying that about her. You'll see that in her comments all the time. Like these comments, trust fund baby, final boss, 43,000 likes. I wouldn't say we were rich growing up, but we were comfortable. 38,500 likes. So it's a thing that people talk about with her. I will say, here's the empathy coming out. She wasn't. This article was written about her and it says, not a native of Salt Lake City, Utah, Shanin Blake is a recent transplant to the big city. She grew up in Davis County with her grandparents. So that video that I showed a little bit earlier of her doing like a house tour to show her mansion, she does say this in it.
This is a giant mirror that I've had since Mary Copa, because we took them out of the closet of the trailer. We lived in a trailer park in a tiny little trailer. And these mirrors were in the master bedroom, so we just took them out when she sold that trailer. So she grew up in a trailer park. She lived in a trailer park, and only in the beginning of quarantine was she able to be successful and get out of that. On the one hand, you go, girl. Way to get yourself out of a bad situation. To stay strong and keep on going. On the other hand, you were only able to do that by vulturing off of indigenous cultures and spirituality, and then using the profit from that to buy yourself things. But I have been going very hard on her this whole video, so I think I owe her the service of showing her greatest creation ever, which is this video she did with, I guess, her boyfriend, although in the description it does say her favorite cousin, so I hope it's not her cousin based on the end of this video.
Oma Takaya, the vibe on the throne, nothing is owned, everything borrowed, can't promise tomorrow, be honest, you're whole, I love you.
Oh my God, why did you do that with your voice at the end?
Whole.
Be honest, you're whole, Stand up! I need you like this, young man, and I need your hand up here. Sorry, I'm too tall. So I need you saluting, and I need you to apologize to everybody who just had to watch that. This is what I need from you. I'm sorry, sir. That was cringe, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Upload a video of you doing that, and that's the only way you'll be forgiven for that cringe-ass bullshit. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Also, yeah, please don't be cousins. God. She did grow up in a trailer park. I don't want to say anything. She's from Utah, and I'm just terrified of the prospect of her also appropriating Alabama culture. Also, one other thing that I want to mention, a lot of people who are like this, they think that they experience ego death, this thing called ego death, where it's like, oh, I'm just a part of the universe and everything else, we're all one, blah, blah, blah. But then once you think that you've experienced ego death, there's no way to keep your ego not from exploding. And I think you can kind of see that in her music all the time. All she really says, like, things about herself that are good. Like, she only compliments herself and then is like, and that's spreading love. Like, look at this.
Bad bitch, powerful and savage, activated goddess, I've been on my boss shit.
It keeps going on and on and on. You think this is what the shamans in Peru taught her? The shamans in Peru were like, by the way, Shanin, the most important thing that you need to take away from all of this is that you are a bad bitch, powerful and savage, and you are an activated goddess, and you are on your boss shit. Trust me, girl, all these Peruvian shamans know it. We are bad bitches, and now you are too. So go out and slay and tell everybody how much of a bad bitch and savage you are. Is that what the Peruvian shamans were saying? No, I think they were probably speaking a different language, and she was going, I'm a Nordic alien. I also know what this means. So that's my opinion. If you ever feel yourself going down this path, stay off the weed! If you're not going down this path, hey, blaze up. And let me know every single time that you watch my videos high. Let me know. I want to see weed chat on my videos. And if you're high right now, I know what you did. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe.
I'm well aware that I attract what I allow in. The hate comments only happen 'cause they bored. I'm with the Peru shamans and I'm smoking weed. And they know that I'm part Cherokee. I'm a Native American Aryan, a Native